Hi, everyone. I'm Chandler Rosenberg with Plant-Based Utah, back with another Q&A with Dr. Niki Davis. This week, we've got a question about B12. One of our members wants to know, what is B12 and why do I need it?
Yes, so this is a great question because whenever you're talking about being vegan or plant-based, this is something that's very important. You need to make sure that you're getting B12. So a lot of people wonder, well, does this mean that actually we should be eating meat because meat eaters get B12? Is this a problem with the vegan diet? So I'll tell you a little bit about what B12 is and why it is that we require supplementation for that. So B12 is a vitamin. It's something that we need in our diet. And it is something that, although is found in animal foods, is actually not made by animals. And it's actually not made by plants either. It's made by bacteria. So there are some animals that have the ability to synthesize B12 in their stomachs. And these are animals like cows, sheep, goats. And in fact, humans can a little bit. We do have that bacteria in our bodies, but we just aren't as efficient at using that and being able to take that B12 into our bodies. So we really do need to have B12 in our diet as well. Now, cows and goats and sheep can get away with just making it in their stomachs. We unfortunately can't get away with just using that. So because it's not enough, we do need to take a supplement. And it seems that the reason that we don't get enough is really a lot of it has to do with kind of our current sanitation practices. So we really make sure that we clean our vegetables really well. We get all that dirt, all that bacteria off of them. In fact, we use, especially in this day and age with COVID, we're using sanitizers and even when we're using antibiotics, that is killing that bacteria that synthesizes B12. And if you've got that bacteria in the soil and it's making B12 that's then in the soil, as long as if you're cleaning that off of all of your veggies and fruits, you're not going to get that B12. So it's just kind of in the modern age of really sanitizing and keeping things clean and having the antibiotics that we just don't get that extra B12 in our diets. Now, if we think about what amount we actually need, if you look at some of the more recent studies, it looks like our requirement is about 5 micrograms per day. If you look online and you go to buy a supplement, it's in much larger forms. So 1,000 micrograms or 2,000 micrograms. So really you can get away with taking a lot less than that if you can find a supplement that sells you something that's in a much less amount. What I end up doing is I take 500 micrograms, but I do it probably once a week. You could still take it once a day. Your body's actually really efficient at taking it in and absorbing it and taking in what it needs. And then it stores quite a bit of it in your liver. In fact, if you have had enough in your diet for a very long time, you store up to about 2 to 3 years worth in your liver. And then your body is so great and efficient, as efficient as it can be at using it, it actually extends about tenfold that. So even though you've only got about 2 to 3 years worth in your liver, because your body's so good at using it, you end up not becoming truly deficient for about 20 to 30 years. So it is important to get it, but just be aware that your body is really great at holding on to it. So as long as you're getting in a good amount every week or so, you shouldn't have any issues with B12 deficiency. And it's something that is very important. So if you are thinking about going completely plant-based, or even if you are not 100% plant-based, you might want to still think about getting some B12 because we are lacking it in the soil and things like that. Now, some people do ask me, what about the type of B12? Because if you look online, there are some different types. And it looks like right now, most of the research shows that cyanocobalamin is the preferred method of getting it. So there are a lot of different kinds that you can choose from, but so far, that's really the only one that's been researched enough that shows that it absorbs well and can be used in your body. So that's the one that I would recommend.
What about, I've seen B12 added to things like nutritional yeast, I think has some of it, or oat milk. Is that enough if you're, using those things regularly, or would you say that you still recommend a supplement on top of that?
Right. So that's great because there are a lot of foods out there that are fortified with B12 as
Right.
well, like you mentioned. So nutritional yeast doesn't naturally have B12, but it's fortified with it. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, so if you're getting kind of some of those extra foods that are fortified with B12, that's just giving you even more. I would say that just be careful if you're maybe over the age of 65, if you're pregnant, that you just want to make sure that you're getting that supplement regardless, just to make sure that you're getting plenty.
Okay, great. Thank you, Dr. Davis. If you'd like to ask a question, please leave a comment below and we will see you next week.
Thanks, Chandler.
Bye-bye.